Hello, Virgo. So I am Christina Del Rey, and I am here to talk to you about your yearly forecast for the year of 2022. I want to start off by talking about the Venus retrograde that is happening beginning in December of 2021. And it's in Capricorn until January 29th. So when we talk about Venus, we're talking about relationships, we're talking about values, we're talking about self-worth. So all of these things are up for review. Even the way that we earn money is up for review. But for you, it's in a very important part of your sky because this has to do with your romantic relationships and also any children you have or children that you want. So these issues, and also this could be creative projects too, but I have to say that the way this transit begins and the way it ends, you may see it very differently by the end. So for you, romantic partnerships are coming into view. This is, what do you value? Are you being valued in this relationship? Can you build with it or not? Does it matter to me or not? This is going to be what works for you and what does not work for you in romance. And your self-worth too. Is my self-worth being lifted in relationships or not? And if you're dealing with children too, you're going to want to look at their values as well and make sure that you are teaching them the appropriate values as well. You might kind of look back and say, well, should I really be teaching them this? It's something that you might reflect on. And also too, the fact that your child sees your value of yourself, how you value yourself, and that they take that on themselves too. So that might be very important during this Venus retrograde in Capricorn. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit about Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is your planet, and you always feel those Mercury retrogrades really hard. So I'll let you know that they are going to be similar to this year. I'm sorry to say. They are going to be in air signs. So January 14th, it's going to retrograde into Aquarius and partially into Capricorn. So for you, it has to do with an area of the chart that has to do with your work, but also your health. So your relationship to your body, your daily routine and habits, and even the way that you problem solve. So those are, and those are all things that are up for review. You can always expect technology issues whenever there's a Mercury retrograde, because you are, particularly for you and for Gemini, because Mercury is your planet. May 10th, Mercury retrograde in Gemini. So for you, part of the chart that has to do with your career and how people see you and your title in the world. So that is also going to be a part of, part where you're learning to clear up any communications. Mercury retrograde is meant to slow us down, to think about how we communicate. So that will be an area for you. It'll also retrograde a little bit into Taurus. So that has to do with education, broadcasting, and travel as well. So you might be rethinking those things as well. September 9th, Mercury retrograde into Libra, Virgo. So for you, this is an area of the chart that has to do with how you make your money, how you value your self-esteem, and your material possessions as well. And we also get in December, late December, almost into 2023, we get another retrograde of Capricorn. So this is going to be Mercury retrograde into your relationships, your romantic relationships, your children, and any projects. So you might be rethinking those things toward the end of the year. I do want to talk about Mars retrograde, because Mars is retrograding in a part of the sky that has to do with your title and your career. So you might be rethinking the actions that you're taking in your career. You might be rethinking what your power is in your career. how you articulate and how you back up your communication in your career. When Mars is retrograde, we tend to have a hard time taking action. So it has to be more strategic. You have to go within and take a look at your power, how you communicate, and how your communication supports your actions. And you're really summoning your internal power too. You're thinking about how you act and if things need to be changed in the way that you act in your career. Jupiter moves into Pisces. We start the year out with Jupiter in Pisces. For you, I think this is going to be a really nice energy. And this is happening in the relationship part of your sky. So kind of exciting a little bit for Virgos in relationships. This is business partnerships, and it can also be romantic partnerships, or, Jupiter in this part of the chart sometimes can, it depends on what else is going on in the chart, but it can bring a new relationship. It can bring a commitment of some kind. It can, have you feeling really lucky. On February 17th, Jupiter is making a sextile to Uranus, which is luck and opportunity, and something that might free you too. So this has to do with like the education, broadcasting, travel area. So, if there is a new partner, maybe you guys will take a trip together. Maybe there's an opportunity to take a trip together. That would be really nice. Okay, and then Jupiter's going to go into Aries from May to October. So that's going to be for a little bit. And Aries is a part of the chart that has to do with money, shared resources. So there could be more money coming your way. There could be blessings in any kind of money that you share or money that comes to you from other sources. It could increase. Jupiter in the 8th house is a good thing for your finances usually, or your partner's finances, one or the other. Okay, let's look at the eclipses for you. So the eclipse axis is, for you, going to be this 9th house space and this 3rd house space. So these eclipses we have are in Taurus and Scorpio. Taurus has to do with money. It has to do with values. It has to do with security. And it has to do with food, the senses, possessions, values, and your relationship with material things. The South Node in Scorpio has to do with purging. It has to do with anything that's dark and needs to be cleared out. Could even be shadow work as well. So for you, Scorpio in this part of the chart, now the eclipses are going to go back and forth in both Taurus and Scorpio all year long. And you're going to see whatever came in November 19th, 2021, you're going to see a repeat of that. And that might be something that you're dealing with all year long. So the 9th house has to do with education. It has to do with broadcasting. It has to do with travel. It has to do with education and philosophy and anything legal as well. With the North Node there, I would think that this would signify you changing your values, kind of rethinking, maybe adjusting your philosophies. This could be you, anything with technology and broadcasting wisdom would be possibly make money for you now. And it might be, Uranus is there too, so it might be something that is not typical, or maybe like even a little shocking, but yet you're putting it out there and it's going to bless you. The 3rd house with the South Node there is getting rid of an old way of thinking. It's purging your old philosophies and getting rid of that state of mind. It's also maybe purging any toxic neighbors or people that you associate with. Maybe like leaving that behind as well. Yeah, you're going to be asking yourself, what needs to be left behind in my mind, and the way that I think. And even like driving habits or things like that too, any bad habits like that too, because this is the third house. So this is driving as well, and commuting. So if there's any bad habits with that too, I would look at, purging that as well. And let's see, so we talked about the eclipses, we talked about Jupiter. I think we pretty much covered all the big things. The eclipses are going to be an 18-month cycle, so really pay attention to what is shifting in those areas that we discussed. And please watch myself and Ivy Rivera on our New Year's show, December 14th. We're going to talk about, it's at 8 o'clock, and we're going to talk about what's coming up in the year for each sign, and we're going to answer questions. And we are going to, make predictions, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So please do join us.